When you hear the words North Korea, what comes to mind? For most people, it's seen as an isolated communist state run by a tyrannical madman. Others see it as simply misunderstood, with a reputation reinforced by propaganda and misinformation. Regardless of how you feel about it, there's sure to be some pretty weird stuff going on in North Korea. Let's talk today about crazy things that only exist in North Korea. How bad is their internet? What exactly is a propaganda village? Wait, do they really have fashion police? That's right, fashion police. Have you ever had someone insult your outfit and say, "Wow, you should be in jail for that top"? While you may take that for a joke, this is a reality in North Korea. In order for the government to control the appearance of its citizens, North Koreans are made to pretty much wear uniforms. Fashion trends from foreign countries are strictly forbidden. According to law, clothing needs to be loose-fitting and modest. People who dress as a form of self-expression are to be publicly shamed. As you can imagine, there is quite a bit of rebellion when it comes to clothing. After all, your style is a form of individuality, and people are always looking to express themselves. So, what happens if people rebel? Well, as crazy as this sounds, the country has its own police force that specializes in clothing. They dictate what is and isn't right for you to wear. These fashion police are made up of women, who usually go after fellow females to make sure they're wearing the appropriate outfits. As for the youth of North Korea, they're overseen by a group known as the Socialist Youth League. Some of the rules of fashion include no dyeing your hair, wearing blue jeans, or putting on makeup. When it comes to punishment, several things can happen to you. It can go from your hair being cut off to being beaten in the street. Other times, they simply yell at you, but the officer would have to be in a pretty good mood for you to get away with just this. A propaganda village was built just for them. To be fair, all countries have their own forms of propaganda. It's certainly nothing new in the 21st century, but the Koreans take it to a whole new level. You see, due to a complicated history between North and South, Korea has installed a small strip of land to serve as a buffer zone between the two sides. This is known as the Korean Demilitarized Zone, or DMZ for short. On the South Korean side of the DMZ, they built a beautiful-looking village. This is meant for the North Koreans to look over and see how wonderful life can be on the other side if they escaped. The craziest part of the village is that people actually live there, and they have some pretty wild perks, like major tax benefits, better income, great schooling, and free farmland. They're also exempt from mandatory military service. It has the worst internet in the world. You think your connection is bad? Wait until you hear about the internet in North Korea. Wait a second. North Korea has internet access? Yes, contrary to popular belief, they actually do. But there's a catch. The country has what is arguably the strictest internet access in the world. Apparently you need to ask permission from the government just to have your own computer. According to sources, if you are granted access to one, it's registered with the police. This is similar to how other countries treat firearms. It's seen as a dangerous weapon that needs to be registered with the state. Keep in mind, only a small portion of the country uses computers to begin with. Human feces as fertilizer. Like I said, there's a lot of wacky stuff going on in North Korea. Some of it's horrific, while some of it's just bizarre. We often hear about farmers using cow manure as fertilizer. Well, the North Koreans have turned it up a notch. Try human feces as fertilizer. You see, North Korea suffers from a massive food shortage. There's a couple of reasons for this. For one, the government doesn't invest in agriculture as much as they should. There is also a lack of chemical fertilizers in the country. Well, desperate times call for desperate measures. Since they can't get any fertilizer from the outside world, they have to use human fertilizer instead. This is referred to as night soil. According to different reports, the demand for night soil in North Korea is so high, stores have started selling it. You heard that right. There are actual stores in North Korea that sell human crap. This trend began around 2010. I've seen a lot of strange stores in my day, but this is something a little different. They give meth as a New Year's gift. Now, I've needed a good buzz during the winter season, but I've never considered this. There is apparently a giant demand for methamphetamine in North Korea. Several drug epidemics have emerged in the country over the decades. In the 1970s, the government began making its own opiates. This was so the country could export the drugs to foreign markets and make money. But in the 90s, poppy fields were destroyed by natural disasters. As a way to make up for the money they were losing, they began to produce meth. These days, the country doesn't make as much meth as they once did. But, because it's still so popular, small meth labs pop up every now and then. Many poor families use it as a source of income. Because meth is a lot harder to come by in the country, people view it as a commodity. This has made the drug a popular gift during the Christmas and New Year's season. Dang, and I'm usually just okay with a simple Xbox game. Basketball is a little different. Are you a big basketball fan? If yes, then you probably have more in common with North Korea's supreme leader than you thought. You may remember Kim Jong-un's unusual friendship with former Chicago Bull Dennis Rodman. Well, that wasn't just some random meeting. Basketball is actually pretty popular in the communist nation. But like a lot of other things in North Korea, basketball is changed to fit their personal vision. While North Koreans play by traditional rules during international tournaments, the rules are different when they're playing on their home soil. For starters, slam dunks are worth 3 points. If you shoot a three-pointer without hitting the rim, you get 4 points. The stakes of the game are raised within the last few seconds. If you score while the clock is running out, your team is awarded with a whopping 8 points. But when a player misses a free throw, a point is taken off their team. Your whole family is punished for your crimes. This is one of the scarier aspects of North Korea, one that is only being openly discussed now, it seems. In order to control your people, you need to make sure they are afraid of you. This is something the Kim family has done for decades. Reports show that people in North Korea who commit small crimes are placed into prison camps. These crimes include things that we take for granted in the developed world, such as criticizing our governments. These harsh penalties are put in place to discourage people from revolting against the supreme leader. While none of this is unique to North Korea, what is different is the country's 3-generation rule, also known as collective punishment. This states that a person convicted of a crime is punished along with 3 generations of family members. That's right, your family doesn't need to be guilty of anything. Their only crime in the eyes of the government is their blood relation to you. Criminals are sent to labor camps, where they experience conditions beyond anything we can even remotely understand. People can potentially spend the rest of their lives in these camps. That's pretty terrifying. This leads into our next crazy fact about North Korea. Loyalty is everything. By the sounds of their punishments, North Koreans must be pretty loyal. Well, for the most part they are. The country has an entire caste system based on your loyalty to the supreme leader. Depending on who your parents are, your outcome in life is pretty much decided for you from the moment you're born. This caste system, known throughout the country as songbun, is based on your family's history of loyalty to the government. Beginning in the 1950s, with the reign of North Korean founder Kim Il-sung, the caste system takes into account your family history, dating all the way back to 1910. North Korean subjects are placed into 3 categories: core, wavering, or hostile. If you and your family have loyalty traced back decades, you're likely treated fairly well. These folks are given plenty of food to eat and are later able to secure a job with the government. You're also granted permission to live in the North Korean capital of Pyongyang. On the flip side, if your family has a history of rebellion, you are probably going to be forced to live in one of the smaller villages in a more rural area. Here, you're made to do grueling farm work for barely any reward. Your place in the caste system can also affect your education. People who rank in a higher category have a better chance of attending a high-level university. For those who rank lower, you're not as lucky. Your family's lack of loyalty to the regime decades earlier can affect your ability to go to school. But at the same time, there are tricks to getting in. Some say if you bribe an official at the school you like, you may be able to get in regardless of your place in the caste system. But I wouldn't want to risk bribing the wrong person and being thrown into a labor camp. Besides, if you're from a poor family, where would you even get enough money? Whether you're interested in North Korea or not, you have to admit it's a pretty crazy place. There are so many countries around the world with a lot of peculiar rules and traditions. Let's keep the conversation going with a couple of related videos, shall we? Check out the top 11 largest countries in the world. Or how about the 10 most powerful? Go ahead, click one. Or better yet, watch both and learn more about the world around you. Would you ever visit North Korea? What crazy laws exist in your country? Let us know in the comments below.